Imagine waking up one day and realizing you've been living someone else's story. You go to work, follow the same routines, and fill your free time with movies, books, and video games, watching heroes fight battles you never dared to face. That was Steve Kamb's life. By day, he was just another office worker, stuck behind a desk, chasing deadlines, pretending everything was fine. But by night, he escaped into fantasy worlds, living through the courage of others. He admired the heroes on screen, the warriors in games, the adventurers in stories, yet deep inside, he knew he was hiding from his own potential. Steve was what you might call a geek, brilliant, curious, and endlessly fascinated by technology and imagination, but disconnected from real-world adventure. His life looked fine from the outside, but inside he felt restless, trapped. He had accepted society's rules without question. Go to school, get a job, pay the bills, and wait for happiness to arrive someday. But someday never came. Then came the turning point. On his 25th birthday, Steve made a radical decision to stop cheering for imaginary heroes and become one himself. That single choice changed everything. From that day on, he began to level up his own life, just like a video game character. He traveled to over 20 countries, learned to play the violin, built his dream physique, and even volunteered to help children in need. The shy introvert who once hid behind screens became a real-life adventurer, fearless and alive. And now, through this book, Steve invites you to join his rebellion, not against the world, but against a life of mediocrity. It's about reclaiming your story, challenging your limits, and creating a life so full of excitement and purpose that it feels like an epic quest. Because life, as Steve discovered, is the greatest game ever designed. And once you learn how to play it right, you'll never sit on the sidelines again. You'll rise, transform, and become the hero of your own story. So let's begin exploring the key lessons from Level Up Your Life by Steve Kamb. Ready Player One. Every story begins somewhere, and every hero, before they rise, begins as an ordinary person living an ordinary life. They're not born with power or privilege. They're shaped by challenges. Somewhere along the way, something happens. A spark, a call, a moment that changes everything. That's when the hero's journey truly begins. Maybe that moment is happening to you right now. Maybe today is your turning point, the day you stop waiting and start living. The truth is, you can become the hero of your own life. But to do that, you have to be ready to face discomfort, uncertainty, and fear. Change doesn't happen by wishing for it. It begins with one brave step forward. So if life is calling you to adventure, don't ignore it. Answer it. Perhaps you're stuck in a job that drains your energy, or trapped in a relationship that makes you feel small. Maybe you lie awake at night dreaming of something more, a life where you travel, achieve, and feel alive again. Maybe you want to live with the same confidence as James Bond or the courage of Luke Skywalker. These dreams aren't foolish. They're reminders that your spirit is still alive. As children, we were told stories of heroes and dreamers. Our parents read us bedtime tales, filled our imaginations with magic, and told us that we could become anything we wanted. Back then, we believed them. Everything felt possible, but then life happened. We grew up. And somewhere along the way, that magic began to fade. We learned to blend in with the crowd, to follow the rules, and to accept that life is just the way it is. Society told us to settle, to work, pay bills, and not expect too much. Happiness became a luxury, not a right. The world can feel unfair. Some people are born into comfort and wealth, while others struggle just to stay afloat. We begin to think that dreams are only for the lucky ones, that adventure and excitement are out of reach. But that's a lie. You don't need privilege to live an extraordinary life. You just need courage. Hope by itself isn't enough. Hope is only the beginning. It must be paired with action, real, deliberate action. If you want change, you have to create it. You have to step away from what society expects and start following what your heart demands. Every small step you take toward your true calling, no matter how uncertain, helps you level up. Don't chase careers or lifestyles that please others. Choose the path that excites you. Ask yourself, what do I truly want from life? The first honest answer that comes to mind, that's your calling. Follow it. You don't need to become a doctor or engineer just because your parents did. You don't need to sit behind a desk just because everyone else does. You were meant for more, for adventure, for meaning, for growth. So be bold, be curious, be a rebel. This is the beginning of your rebellion, not against people, but against the ordinary. Just like Harry Potter, you have power inside you, waiting to be discovered. Before Hogwarts, Harry lived a dull, unremarkable life until one letter changed everything. Your letter might not come by owl, but the message is the same. Your story is about to begin. Steve Kamb calls this playing the game of life. And just like any player, you'll meet others who inspire you, like Mandy Fritch. Mandy once battled severe mental health struggles. She was caught between determination and deep self-doubt. But after reading Steve's blog, she decided to change her story. Mandy adopted what Steve calls the nerd fitness approach, a blend of fun, structure, and self-accountability. She began eating healthier, exercising regularly, and tracking her progress with a spreadsheet pinned to her wall. Slowly, her confidence grew. But life tested her again when tragedy struck. A close friend died in a car accident. The loss shattered her. Yet, the Rebellion community, a group of like-minded dreamers inspired by Steve's philosophy, helped her heal. When she recovered, Mandy didn't go back to her old life. She started fresh, found a new job, and decided to bike to work every day. That single decision turned into a passion. Soon, she challenged herself to visit every park in Columbus, one ride at a time. Each park became a new adventure, and with every pedal stroke, Mandy discovered her strength. Eventually, she met someone special. Together, they climbed the Blue Glacier in Olympic National Park and completed a triathlon, achievements she once thought impossible. Through her journey, Mandy learned one profound truth from Steve Kamb. Dreaming isn't enough. You have to live your dream. She became the main character of her story. And now, it's your turn. Your life is the greatest game ever made. The only question is, are you ready to press start? Rescue your alter ego from doubts and disbeliefs. Every great story begins the same way, with an ordinary person living an ordinary life. Then one day, something unexpected happens. A challenge, a setback, or a moment of truth forces that person to change direction. That's when the real story begins, the story of transformation. And just like every hero you've ever admired, you too have your own journey waiting to unfold. In every story, the hero doesn't start strong or confident. At first, they doubt themselves. They resist the call to adventure. They even push away the people or mentors trying to help them. But as the journey unfolds, through trials, victories, and losses, the hero begins to grow, stronger, wiser, and more courageous than before. That's how transformation works. It's never instant. It's earned. You've already made the most important decision. You've chosen to be a player in your own game instead of a spectator. But every player needs a mentor, guidance, and the courage to face uncertainty. This path will not be easy, but it will be worth it. So here's your first lesson. Learn to live two lives. The life you have right now and the life you want to create, your superhero life. Your current reality is your origin story. Every hero has one. Maybe you're in a place of struggle, confusion, or doubt. That's okay. That's where all heroes begin. But your alter ego, the version of you that you dream about becoming, is waiting on the other side. That's the future you. Stronger, freer, and unstoppable. Take a moment to imagine yourself at 99 years old, looking back on your life. What adventures have you lived? What impact have you made? Who have you helped? What do people remember you for? Think big, dream boldly, and write it all down, because this vision is the blueprint of your alter ego. Your present defines where you are. Your alter ego defines where you're going. Now you might be thinking, but I have responsibilities, a family, a job, bills to pay. And you're right. You can't simply walk away from life. But here's the secret. You don't have to. Living like a hero doesn't mean abandoning your current world. It means transforming within it. You can live your normal life during the day and create small adventures in your free time. You can build strength, courage, and excitement one step at a time. You don't need a cape or superpowers. You just need creativity and action. You can choose your superhero identity right now. And if you don't like the direction your story is heading, you can rewrite it anytime you want. Once you create your alter ego, something magical happens. You begin to think differently. You push harder. You chase bigger dreams. You stop living just to survive and start living to thrive. Take the story of Ryan Groskowski. Ryan was a huge fan of Japanese role-playing games. He loved creating characters, training them, and watching them evolve from weak beginners into powerful heroes. Secretly, he dreamed of doing the same thing in real life. But in 2011, Ryan's reality looked nothing like the games he loved. He was overweight, losing his hair, and eating junk food daily. He felt stuck, lost, and tired. Then he discovered Steve Kamb's Rebellion, a movement built around the idea that life itself is a game and you get to choose how to play it. Ryan decided to stop waiting for change and start creating it. He got a job, began saving money, and joined one of Steve's nerd fitness meetups. Surrounded by people with similar goals, he learned how to care for his body, his mind, and his mission. He started running races, pushing his limits, and building confidence. That's when Ryan found his alter ego, the version of himself he had always dreamed of becoming. And once he met that version, there was no turning back. You can do the same. Your alter ego is already inside you, waiting for you to rescue it from doubt, fear, and disbelief. The moment you decide who you want to be, the game begins. So, go ahead, choose your hero name, write your origin story, and start your first quest. Your alter ego is ready. Are you? Resist temptation and convenient excuses. Inside every one of us lives a voice, a constant whisper, shaping what we believe is possible and what isn't. This inner voice often tries to protect us. It warns us not to touch the fire because it burns, not to jump because we might fall. It helps us survive. But that same voice can also become the very thing that holds us back. It whispers excuses. It builds invisible walls around us, keeping us locked inside the comfort zone. It tells us that chasing new adventures is too hard, that learning new things takes too much time, that success is meant for others, not for us. And before we know it, we start believing it. If you truly want to level up your life, you have to silence this voice, or at least stop letting it control you. Because behind every dream not pursued lies an excuse disguised as logic. There are 6 common voices that most people must overcome. Let's expose them one by one. The first voice says, "I don't have time." But the truth is, you do. You just haven't made time for what matters most. Author Laura Vanderkam, in her article for the Wall Street Journal, suggested a powerful mental shift. Instead of saying, "I don't have time to do this," try saying, "This isn't a priority for me right now." It's a small change in words, but a big shift in perspective, because once you frame it that way, it becomes harder to ignore the truth. If exercise, learning, or adventure really matters to you, you'll find time, just as you already find time for the things that don't. The second voice says, "I don't have money." But if you look closely at your expenses, the takeout meals, streaming subscriptions, impulse buys, you'll see where your money is truly going. You might not be broke. You might just be misdirected. The truth is, adventure doesn't always require money. You can explore, learn, grow, and even transform your body without spending much at all. Adventure is not about wealth, it's about will. The third voice says, "My job won't let me." Many people spend their lives trapped in work they dislike, waiting for the right time to live. Yet studies show that when people look back on their lives, they rarely wish they had worked more. They wish they had lived more. If your job drains your energy and kills your spirit, maybe it's time to change it, or at least change how you live around it. A job should support your life, not consume it. The fourth voice says, "I'm too old." But age is not the enemy. Inaction is. Some people start their first business at 70. Others run marathons or learn new skills well into their 80s. As long as you're breathing, you can begin again. The calendar doesn't decide when your adventure ends. You do. The fifth voice says, "I'm just not lucky." You may not have money, support, or perfect opportunities, but you do have something powerful: access. If you're hearing this, you have the internet, and with that, the entire world is at your fingertips. Knowledge, communities, and mentors are one click away. Remember, every hero faces obstacles. The difference between those who change and those who don't is simple. One keeps moving forward. The harder the challenge, the greater the transformation. And the sixth voice says, "Be realistic. Don't dream too big." But what is realistic? Realism is just another word for fear, disguised as logic. Life is short. You get only so many years to play this game. Why spend them playing small? Dream boldly, because small dreams don't inspire action. Only big ones do. The members of Steve Kamb's rebellion learned this truth the hard way. They stopped making excuses and started making changes. They didn't abandon their lives. They adapted them. They worked during the day, but at night and on weekends, they became heroes in their own adventures. They learned new skills, built strength, and discovered joy in pushing their limits. They refused to let that inner voice win. Now it's your turn. Free yourself from those voices, from the excuses, doubts, and fears that have kept you ordinary. The moment you silence them, you'll hear another voice, the one that says, "You can." And when you follow that voice, your real adventure begins. Embrace gamification to unlock happiness. At the core of everything we do lies one simple desire: to be happy. We chase money, fame, freedom, and success because we believe these things will bring us joy. But there's a problem. When happiness depends entirely on what we don't yet have, we spend our lives postponing it. We say, I'll be happy when I earn more, or when I have more time, or when I finally reach that next goal. And in doing so, we delay living. Steve Kamb discovered a different way, one inspired by his childhood. When he was a kid, he loved The Legend of Zelda. He'd spend hours helping the hero, Link, complete quests, explore dungeons, and save the Kingdom of Hyrule. Link started out as a timid boy, small and uncertain, but through courage and perseverance, he transformed into a powerful hero. Steve saw himself in Link, a shy kid with big dreams and a wild imagination. He even made his own bow and arrow, pretending to be the hero in his own backyard. As he grew older, Steve graduated to more advanced games, but one thing remained the same. Games made him feel alive. He started wondering, what if life itself could be played like a game? What if we could take the same excitement, structure, and sense of achievement that games give us and apply it to real life? He began studying why games are so addictive. He realized that video games keep players hooked because they're fun, rewarding, and structured. They give you clarity. You always know your mission, your next step, and your ultimate goal. You can see your progress. You can measure it. In games, you can explore epic worlds, complete quests, and unlock new levels. In real life, however, we often feel stuck. We have bills to pay, jobs to maintain, and bodies too tired to move. We don't get to travel as much, and our adventures are replaced with routines. But here's the truth. We can gamify our lives. We can bring the same excitement and clarity to our everyday journey. In games, every small achievement, every level, every point releases dopamine, the brain's chemical of joy and motivation. It's not the final victory that keeps players playing. It's the constant progress. You can do the same in real life. The key is to break your big dreams into smaller, trackable steps, your own quests. Each completed task becomes a level-up moment. This is what scientists call the progress principle, the idea that happiness doesn't come from grand success, but from seeing yourself move forward each day. A study at the University of California once compared two groups, lottery winners and patients who had recently become physically disabled. At first, of course, the lottery winners were happier. But after a year, something shocking happened. Both groups reported the same level of happiness. In some cases, the patients were even happier. The conclusion? Money doesn't guarantee happiness. Growth does. The act of pursuing something meaningful releases the same happy chemicals that games do. Once you stop growing, happiness fades because your brain needs challenge and progress to thrive. If your job leaves you stagnant, you'll feel drained, no matter how well it pays. But if your work challenges you, helps you learn, and gives you room to improve, you'll feel alive again. Take Joe Rugex, one of the earliest members of Steve's Rebellion. Joe was Steve's college roommate, a passionate gamer who once became the world's top Halo 2 player. After graduation, he landed a programming job that paid well, but money couldn't fill the void. Joe felt bored, uninspired, and stuck in a loop. Then he made a bold move. He applied for a position at a video game company, even though he had never coded a game before. Every night after work, he studied, practiced, and honed his skills. When the time came, he beat hundreds of applicants and got the job. In his new role, Joe thrived. The company encouraged creativity and experimentation. Every day felt like a new level to conquer, a new quest to complete. His happiness skyrocketed because his work gave him constant opportunities to grow, to level up. That's what gamification is all about. It's not about escaping life, it's about playing it. You can apply this to your own journey. If your job feels monotonous, dedicate an hour each day to something that excites you. Learning a new skill, building a side project, training your body. Set clear, measurable goals and track your progress like a game. Each small step forward will trigger that same burst of dopamine, making you feel alive, focused, and motivated. You'll find yourself entering a flow state where time disappears and you're fully immersed in what you're doing. The secret to happiness isn't comfort, it's progress. So stop waiting for the perfect moment to be happy. Start leveling up today. Because in this game called life, every small victory counts, and every step forward brings you closer to the hero you're meant to become. World Building 101. Create the rules of your game. Gamifying your life doesn't mean you have to abandon it. You don't need to quit your job or run away from responsibility. Think of your favorite superheroes, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Peter Parker. By day, they work, study, or blend into the ordinary world. By night, they step into their secret identity, following their mission. They live two lives, and so can you. You've already built your alter ego. Now it's time to build the world where that hero lives. This chapter is about designing your personal universe, the setting for your adventures, the rules of your game. You have two choices. You can believe life is random, that things just happen to you. In that case, you'll drift, letting others decide what you become. Or you can see life as a game, a place filled with hidden quests, clues, and rewards waiting to be discovered. When you view the world this way, you realize you're not a background character. You're the main player. So stop taking everything so seriously. Bring play back into your life. Laugh. Experiment. Explore. Because when you treat life as a game, every obstacle becomes a challenge, every setback a side quest, and every win a level up. Steve Kamb's Rebellion lays down a few simple rules to help you create your world. First, your origin story doesn't define you. Where you came from, the mistakes you made, the struggles you faced, they don't determine your future. What matters is the next mission you choose. Second, once you join the rebellion, you never really leave it. Gamification isn't a temporary trick. It's a lifelong mindset. If you're not ready to commit to growth, pause here, because this journey is for those who are all in. Third, physical fitness is part of every hero's world. To face dragons, real or metaphorical, you need strength. Your body is your vehicle. Train it well. Fourth, nutrition fuels your quest. 80% of how you feel each day depends on what you eat. You can't go into battle running on junk. Change your diet one small step at a time. Tiny improvements compound into transformation. Fifth, always have a plan. When you set a goal, write it down. Break it into steps and review your progress. Heroes don't wander aimlessly. They strategize. Sixth, make movement enjoyable. Choose activities that make your heart race and your spirit light up. Climbing, cycling, dancing, running, anything that matches your alter ego's story. Seventh, question everything. Don't accept limits just because others do. In your world, impossible is just a word waiting to be disproved. Eighth, honor your responsibilities. Being a hero doesn't mean abandoning your family or quitting your job. If you're a parent, raise your children with love. If you have bills, pay them. Your ordinary world and your heroic world can coexist beautifully. Ninth, take pride in who you are. Raising your standards is an act of self-respect. As you strengthen your body and mind, you become a better parent, partner, friend, and teammate. Living by these rules won't always be easy, but that's what makes it worth it. Growth and challenge are what make the game exciting. Each day you play by your own code, you build a stronger world, one filled with adventure, confidence, and meaning. So start today. Choose your priorities. Design a world that excites you to wake up each morning. Because when you set your own rules and play with purpose, the world around you begins to change. And so do you. Character Select. Determine your Level 50 achievement status. Think back to the last video game you played. You probably started at Level 1, weak, uncertain, and still figuring out how the world worked. But as you kept playing, you got better. You learned new skills, unlocked better weapons, and began to conquer tougher challenges. With every level, your character evolved. And by the time you reached Level 50, you weren't the same player anymore. You were a master, powerful, confident, and unstoppable. Now imagine reaching Level 50 in your own life. What would that look like? How strong, skilled, and fulfilled would you be? To find out, you first have to choose your character type, the kind of hero you want to become. This decision defines your path, your priorities, and the values that guide your journey. You don't have to limit yourself by who you are today. Even if you're quiet, shy, or uncertain, you can choose a bold and adventurous role. Your character isn't about who you were, it's about who you want to be. Here are a few archetypes to inspire you. You might be a warrior, someone who thrives on physical strength, discipline, and resilience. Warriors face life's challenges head-on and grow stronger through every battle. Or perhaps you're a scout, an explorer of the wild, comfortable with nature, and skilled at adapting to your surroundings. Scouts thrive in uncertainty and find freedom in simplicity. You could be a ranger, multi-talented and resourceful, capable of surviving anything, like Jon Snow or Katniss Everdeen. Rangers blend strength, agility, and strategy to overcome any obstacle. Then there's the assassin, agile, sharp, and daring. Assassins rely on bodyweight training, precision, and focus. They climb walls, conquer new heights, and move silently but powerfully through life. The monk is another path, calm, centered, and disciplined. A monk's strength comes from stillness and mastery of both body and mind. Or you might resonate with the high priest, deeply spiritual, purposeful, and wise. High priests live with intention and guide others through example, balancing discipline with compassion. And then there's the adventurer, the curious soul who seeks new experiences, learns constantly, and finds excitement in the unknown. Adventurers live with courage and curiosity as their superpowers. You can choose one of these identities or blend several to create your own custom avatar, your unique combination of strengths and values. What matters most is not what you choose, but that you start living in alignment with your chosen character. Ask yourself, if your character were level 50, what would they look like? How would they think, act, and live each day? Write it down in vivid detail. Describe your level 50 life. What are your core values? What does your morning look like? Do you start with meditation or training? How do you spend your energy creating, learning, helping, or exploring? If you can't clearly picture it yet, find role models. Look for people who represent your dream life. Use them as reference points, real-world heroes to guide your path. Remember, reaching level 50 takes time. It's not a sprint. It's a lifelong quest. When Steve Kamb envisioned his own level 50, he pictured living near the beach in a beautiful home filled with light. He imagined waking up early to write his next book, going to the gym for a powerful workout, then spending afternoons golfing or practicing music. He saw himself traveling the world, exploring new places, and challenging his mind and body in new ways. Evenings, he pictured spending time with his wife and children, cooking dinner, laughing, and sharing stories with friends. That was his vision, his end game. And everything he did was designed to bring him closer to that life. You can do the same. Start small. Do 5 push-ups today. Tomorrow, do 10. Track your progress like you would in a game. Each improvement, no matter how small, earns you experience points. Over time, your health, strength, and confidence will rise, and so will your level. Level 50 isn't a number. It's a mindset. It's the version of you who has mastered the game of life, physically strong, mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and living with purpose. So, who do you want to become? Choose your character, define your quest, and start earning your experience points today. Because every decision you make from this moment on is either leveling you up or keeping you stuck at level 1. Quest Select. Choose your own adventure. Before you can reach level 50, you'll need to complete a series of missions, your personal quests. These quests are what make life exciting. They give structure to your growth, purpose to your actions, and meaning to your days. Think of them as your roadmap, a list of adventures, challenges, and goals that will help you level up one mission at a time. Your quest list should be clear, specific, and diverse. Some quests will test your limits, others will bring you joy. Together, they'll shape the story of your life. Steve Kamb divides quests into 10 categories. Each one strengthens a different part of who you are. The first is physical quests. These are about building strength, stamina, and health. Because without a strong body, every other goal becomes harder. Maybe your quest is to run a marathon, climb a mountain, or deadlift 100 kilograms. Whatever you choose, make it a challenge that pushes you beyond comfort and helps you grow physically and mentally. Next are mental quests. These sharpen your mind, expand your knowledge, and build your problem-solving skills. You might decide to learn a new language, finish your degree, read 50 books, or build your own app. Each mental quest increases your wisdom and confidence. Then come the fun quests. These are about pure joy. No deadlines, no pressure, just fun. Learn to dance, paint something wild, cook a new dish, play with your kids. Life isn't meant to be all work and goals. Fun quests remind you that happiness is found in small, playful moments. Fourth are the work quests. These keep your financial life in balance. Your mission might be to land your dream job, start a side hustle, or build a business that gives you freedom. The goal isn't just to make money, but to create the kind of work that supports your adventures. Next are adventure quests. These get your heart racing and your soul alive. Climb mountains, go scuba diving, visit new countries, or explore places you've never seen. Adventure opens your eyes, breaks your routine, and reminds you how vast and beautiful the world truly is. Then there are courage quests. These are all about facing your fears. Afraid of public speaking? Sign up for a presentation. Nervous about traveling alone? Book that solo trip. Growth doesn't happen inside comfort. It begins the moment you step beyond it. Seventh comes the freedom quest. This is about taking back control of your time and life. It could mean paying off your debt, taking a sabbatical, or finding ways to earn passive income. Freedom gives you the space to pursue the life you've always imagined. Eighth are the master quests. These are your biggest, wildest dreams, the ones that seem almost impossible. Maybe you want to buy a beach house, publish a book, or one day travel into space. Write them down anyway. The excitement of the dream itself will fuel your motivation. Next are the gratitude quests. True heroes don't just live for themselves, they lift others along the way. Volunteer at a shelter, donate to a cause, or help a friend chase their dream. Every act of kindness strengthens your spirit and multiplies your happiness. And finally, the legacy quests. These are about what you leave behind, your mark on the world. It could be writing a book, recording music, starting a foundation, or simply raising children who live with integrity and purpose. Legacy quests turn your life story into a gift for others. One of the rebellion members, Thomas Sorensen, is a perfect example of living by quests. Thomas was a single father, constantly exhausted and overwhelmed by daily life. But everything changed after he discovered the story of Lone Wolf and Cub, a tale about a warrior named Ogami Itmu, who traveled with his son, teaching him honor and courage. Thomas saw himself in Ogami. Both were fathers. Both were fighters. Both wanted to give their children strength and wisdom. Inspired, Thomas joined the rebellion and created his own quests to study martial arts, learn ancient philosophies, and pass his lessons to his son. Together, they trained, laughed, and lived each day as a new adventure. Life stopped being a burden and became a game they played as a team. And now, it's your turn. Take a piece of paper and write down your own quest list. Include goals from each category that speaks to you. Don't worry if your quests change over time. That's part of the game. Your story will evolve, and so will your missions. The only rule is this: keep playing, keep growing, exploring, learning, and giving. Because the moment you stop chasing new quests, the game ends. And as long as you keep moving forward, you'll live a life filled with adventure, a life with no regrets. Define your level structure. Now that you've chosen your quests, it's time to bring them to life. The key is simple. Start small, but start today. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or for more time to appear in your schedule. You just need 15 minutes a day. That's it. 15 focused minutes can change the direction of your life. Whatever quest you've chosen, whether it's learning a new language, getting fit, or starting a creative project, it may look huge and overwhelming right now. But every great quest, every legendary hero, starts with one small, manageable step. So simplify it. Break your goal into tiny levels, just like in a game, and then play. The secret to success isn't doing everything at once. It's showing up consistently, even in small doses. Progress is what builds momentum. When you commit to daily improvement, your brain learns discipline, and that discipline reshapes your entire life. Let's take an example. Suppose your quest is to learn French. Saying, "I want to learn French" feels too big and vague. It's like trying to defeat the final boss without training first. So let's turn it into levels. Level 1. For the next 6 months, study French for 1 hour every day. Keep track of your streak, and when you complete it, reward yourself with 20 experience points. Level 2. Practice speaking French for 20 minutes daily for another 6 months. Once you finish, award yourself another 20 experience points. Level 3. Memorize 100 French words. It's simple, measurable, and gives you a clear win. Level 4. Have a real conversation with a native French speaker for 30 minutes. This is your field test, your first real adventure outside the tutorial. Level 5. Travel to France. Immerse yourself in the culture. See the places. Hear the accents. Feel the language come alive. And then comes the boss battle, your ultimate challenge. Spend an entire day in France, speaking only French. No shortcuts, no English. It'll test everything you've learned and prove how far you've come. That's how you structure your levels. One step, one win, one reward at a time. Your journey to becoming a hero won't happen overnight, but that's okay. You're not in a race. You're on an adventure. You have an entire lifetime to level up, so go slowly, but never stop moving forward. Even 15 minutes a day is enough to change you. One day, you'll look back and realize that those tiny daily actions created massive transformation. Keep improving. Keep believing. And with each level you complete, you'll get closer to the ultimate version of yourself, the hero you were always meant to be. Conclusion. Life is a game, and you are its hero. You may begin as an ordinary player with modest skills and limited power, but every quest, every challenge, and every choice gives you experience points that shape the person you're becoming. In Level Up Your Life, Steve Kamb shows us that happiness, courage, and success are not destinations. They're levels we unlock through consistent action. You learned that you are the main player in your story. No one else can take the controller. To grow, you must say yes to the adventure, to step out of comfort, embrace change, and join the rebellion against mediocrity. You learned that every hero has an origin story, a mentor, and an alter ego waiting to emerge. Your past is your beginning. This book and this journey becomes your mentor, and your alter ego, that's your highest potential self, ready to be unleashed. You learned that excuses like no time, no money, or no luck are illusions, the walls your inner voice builds to keep you small. The truth is, you have enough. Enough time to start, enough strength to grow, and enough opportunities to transform. You learned how gamification can turn ordinary life into adventure, just like in your favorite games. Every milestone gives you progress, rewards, and happiness. By setting goals, tracking progress, and chasing challenges, you create the same excitement you once felt as a kid pressing start. You discovered the rules of building your own superhero world to focus on health, plan your actions, question limits, stay responsible, and take pride in who you're becoming. You explored the character types you can choose: warrior, scout, ranger, assassin, monk, high priest, or adventurer, or your own unique blend of them all, because your story isn't about fitting into a mold, but about creating your own. You learned about the 10 quests that define a complete, fulfilling life: physical, mental, fun, work, adventure, courage, freedom, master, gratitude, and legacy quests. Each one adds richness to your story and depth to your experience. And finally, you learned that leveling up doesn't require giant leaps, only small daily steps. Just 15 minutes a day can transform your reality. One action, one quest, one level at a time. Now, the controller is in your hands. So ask yourself, what kind of hero do you want to be? What kind of world will you create? And what legacy will you leave behind? You don't need to know all the answers today. You just need to take the first step, your very first quest, because this is your story, your adventure, your life. So get ready, take a deep breath, press play, and begin leveling up, one day, one quest, one victory at a time. Thank you for listening to this summary of Level Up Your Life by Steve Kamb. If this audiobook inspired you, remember, the best way to change your life is to start playing your own game. Subscribe to Audiobook 101 for more life-changing book summaries that help you grow, achieve, and become the hero of your story. See you in the next adventure.